from the Age of Renaissance to Realism. The Renaissance art. The Renaissance art can be traced to Italy in the late 13th and early 14th centuries. During this period, so-called Proto-Renaissance, Italian scholars and artists saw themselves as reawakening to the ideals and achievements of classical culture. Writers, such as Petrarch and Giovanni Boccaccio, looked back to ancient Greece and Rome, and sought to revive the languages, values, intellectual traditions of those cultures, after the long period of stagnation that had followed the fall of the Roman Empire in the 6th century. But before we proceed, let us know, who are Petrarch and Giovanni Boccaccio? Petrarch. Francesco Petrarca, commonly anglicized as Petrarch, was a scholar and poet of Renaissance Italy, who was one of the earliest humanists. His rediscovery of Cicero's letters is often credited with initiating the 14th century Renaissance. Petrarch is often considered the founder of humanism. In the 16th century, Pietro Bimbo created the model for the modern Italian language based on Petrarch's works, as well as those of Giovanni Boccaccio, and, to a lesser extent, Dante Alighieri. Petrarch's sonnets were admired and imitated throughout Europe during the Renaissance, and became a model for lyrical poetry. He is also known for being the first to develop the concept of the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages is a historical periodization, traditionally referring to the Middle Ages, that asserts a demographic, cultural, and economic deterioration occurred in Western Europe, following the decline of the Roman Empire. Giovanni Boccaccio. Boccaccio was an Italian writer, poet, correspondent of Petrarch, and an important Renaissance humanist. Boccaccio wrote a number of notable works, including The Decameron and On Famous Women. The Decameron, subtitled Prince Galahad, is a collection of novellas by the 14th century Italian author Giovanni Boccaccio. The book is structured as a frame story, containing 100 tales, told by a group of 7 young women and 3 young men, sheltering in a secluded villa just outside Florence to escape the Black Death, which was afflicting the city. He probably conceived of the Decameron after the epidemic in 1348, and completed it in 1353. The various tales of love in the Decameron range from the erotic to the tragic. Tales of wit, practical jokes, and life lessons contribute to the mosaic. In addition to its literary value and widespread influence, it provides a document of life at the time. It is considered a masterpiece of classic early Italian prose. He wrote his imaginative literature mostly in the Italian vernacular, as well as other works in Latin, and is particularly noted for his realistic dialogue, which differed from that of his contemporaries, medieval writers who usually followed formulaic models for character and plot. During the 200 years between 1400 and 1600, Europe witnessed an astonishing revival of drawing, fine art, painting, sculpture and architecture centered on Italy, which we now refer to as the Renaissance. It was given this name, French for rebirth, as a result of La Renaissance, a famous volume of history written by the historian Jules Michelet in 1855.